The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaraya Productions. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tokucast Reviews, episode number 166, RoboCop.
That is pretty much exactly what
He's basically RoboCop. Kidou Keiji Jiban, Uchu Keiji Jiban, Bingo Bango Bongo Boongle, RoboCop the Sentai.
This is going to be short.
This
is going to probably be Winspector short.
It just might be.
I got nothing. Let's start with the opening.
We'll start with the opening. We can always start there.
The opening.
Jiban! Jiban!
Something about it just like...
Na 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 na. The ending theme song, it opens with the phrase heavy metal, and I said the only thing more opposite than heavy metal than the ending theme song of Jiban is probably a field of daisies. Goodness me.
This isn't...
So,
I didn't like
Kidou Keiji Jiban.
I didn't like anybody.
Was released in this is 89 to 90.
Yeah,
when this
which
came
is
out.
weird because I think that was the same time around Black RX and Turbo Ranger into 5-Man. So it was like the three ones from Toei, none of them were good. During that year, nothing was happening. Nothing good was happening.
It came out in 89. It feels like it's so much older than that. It feels like this is something that we would have reviewed that came out in the 70s. Or the early 80s.
I see it being from that era because Winspector was next.
That was next?
Yeah.
Goodness.
So it has that same feel of me not liking it. I didn't like anybody in this, which is weird because I liked the main character in Jiraiya.
Yeah.
He played the paper ninja.
Mm-hmm.
Not in this. Not the moment.
No, in this one, it is about as Toku-ass Showa as Toku-ass Showa can get, even though we're in the Heisei era.
Yeah. Also featuring Lamie, a.k.a. Scorpina, from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Z-Ranger. Also, Five Black is in this. He's the guy who...
He's the drifter.
Yeah, the little girl is going with for most of the series.
Rio.
The villain is awful.
So the villain is... I mean, we're just kind of all over the place, and forgive me that we are, but we really don't have anything to sink our teeth into on this one. But the villain is played by a Caucasian actor...
Who's dubbed.
Who they then dubbed over with a Japanese actor.
But the problem is, the lips don't match, ever. So it took me out every single time.
I'm not sure, because I didn't really find any behind-the-scenes info on that character, but like...
Why?
I'm not sure if it was a case of they got the footage and then it turns out his voice didn't match what they were going for, or his Japanese was bad, or they just liked his look and cast him to play the visual part while they had another actor do the voice because they thought it would work better that way. I don't know.
And it's like, you end up having this little plant monster, and like some other people coming along the way, but who cares?
Well, what happens is you have like the main villain who is like, I am in my evil lair and I will do evil things for evil purposes because I am evil. And then he has two sexy assistants who are like, ooh, yes, do evil. Evil is sexy. Evil is good. We're bad and bad is good. And then a Furby pops up and goes, bah! And then a spider plops down on a string and goes, bah! And that's pretty much every episode. We just cut back to them, and they're like, we must do evil things. We're not doing enough evil. The quotient of evil isn't high enough. We need more evil stonks in the world. Evil, I tell you.
Jeremy couldn't handle it.
It's just the most... And I think this opens up this does open a wider topic for discussion outside of the show itself.
What happened during this year? That first Heisei era year.
Which is... what happened is these shows, as far as...
We'll talk about it after we get into Turbo and 5-Man,
But as far as, like, the wider topic I was getting at, I am reminded of a quote from Yahtzee Croshaw in his review for Call of Duty Vanguard. And, forgive me if this may sound a little crass, is... Well, that's the problem. I can't picture any of its characters fucking or wanting to do anything other than fight. the characters in the show and a lot of the a lot of the bad shows we reviewed, forgive me, my brain is in a jumble.
Because of the show.
A lot of you think about like some of the worst shows that we've reviewed that are similar in ilk to Jiban. Your Winspectors, some of the other late Showa, early Heisei writers, Kikaider, Skyrider, so on and so forth. They have a main character who cares about one thing and one thing only, and that is fighting evil. It's beating the bad guys. And you have bad guys who only care about one thing, and that is being evil. You have support characters who are there and don't really add much. Yes, they have the whole thing with like the sister, the little girl who had amnesia, and the drifter who picks her up, but you just don't care because it's not well written. And it all is, of course, tied into
that little girl.
And of course, we have to fight the evil because evil must be fought. There's no nuance.
Yeah.
There's no shades of gray. It is good guys and bad guys, which granted, we've talked about this many times. Toku is melodrama. That's what it is. But even before this show came out, we've seen examples of characters being a little more nuanced. We've seen examples of characters wanting things other than fighting bad guys.
Or really having that charisma. We're looking at Denzi Man specifically here.
Denzi Man, I think, is a great example.
Yeah.
Where we have characters that feel fully rounded, that feel like they have interests outside of fighting the bad guys.
Change Man is one of the biggest examples. Just around this time period. But something about this show is just like, I couldn't connect with anything because it hurt. I'm not gonna say it hurt.
It's straining.
Yeah, it strained me to care.
Yeah,
and I didn't care
because the only thing it ever gives you is there is evil and evil must be fought. That's all it ever gives you, and never goes beyond that. And it feels like tuning into the nightly news at this point. We are tuning in for tuning in to watch like a recording of a sporting event. I think would be is a better example. Yeah. We're tuning in and it's like we gather around for our annual fighting of the dudes. Here is our bad guy, monster, go out, do your thing. Okay, I will go do my thing. He does his thing. They fight him. He gets read his Miranda rights. Doesn't matter because he's going to get killed anyway.
We still have Soul Brain and Exceed Draft to go to, but I think the next Metal Hero I'm really looking forward to because the other two are sort of, it's in that rescue trilogy of Winspector, Soul Brain, and Exceed Draft. That's the rescue trilogy of Metal Hero. Mm-hmm. Jam Person is sort of the next one I'm really looking forward to because that one is a lot more boiled down. It's just this guy fighting against a crime organization, not really any monsters. It's just crime, which I think is, it's one of the reasons I love Deca Ranger as much as I do. But this show and the next two, I haven't seen Soul Brain, I haven't seen Exceed Draft, so I can't really speak on them yet. Mm-hmm. But I'm worried because of their ties to Winspector.
And I realize that what I've been saying about Good vs. Evil and whatnot may seem contradictory because some of my favorite shows are just that. Kira Major, Gokaiger, so on and so forth. Here's what really separates them from shows like Jiban. It's having characters that we care about. It's having writing that is fun. It has good jokes. It has good comedy. It has good action. It's got some good drama when the situation calls for it. And then you have a show like Jiban where you just don't care. You just don't connect. And the whole thing is just like 52 episodes of white noise.
Yeah. I don't want to spend any more time on this.
Fair enough.
We're going to go on break. We'll be back.
It is December now, so we will be on break for a bit.
Yes. We'll be back the 6th of January, 2024, so after the new year, with Super One, which will be our last writer for a while. Mm-hmm. So fun. Well,
it'll be the last of the past writers.
Yes. Jacob will be watching Kuga, though, because he hasn't seen it, and I really want him to see it. I want you to see it so badly.
I know. I know. It's on Tubi, so it's like free and available easily. So
easy to do. But yeah, that's our last one for the year. Let us know what you thought of Jiban.
If you watched it.
Yeah. Don't forget to join us on all the things. We'll see you in the new year. Bye, everybody.
Happy New Year, and thank you for watching.